Okay, everyone, good afternoon. Thank you all for joining us for Virtual Admitted Students Week, and specifically this session, which is Next Steps. It's going to be a kind of a general overview, and then we'll do some question and answers as you have questions for you all as incoming new students to A&M Commerce. We have a few different representatives here from the Division of Enrollment Management, and so we will each go through our slides, give our part of the presentation, and then at the very end, there will be time for you all to ask questions. If you do have questions as we go throughout the presentation, if you will please use the chat feature in Zoom just to avoid any sort of background noise that may come in if you were to unmute yourself. We will follow up with those chat questions at the end of the presentation. And then if there are some additional questions, people can unmute themselves and ask those out loud. So again, thank you all for joining us. My name is Chris Hensley, and I am the Assistant Director of New Student and Family Programs here at Texas A&M University Commerce. Our office is the office that oversees campus visits, new student orientation, as well as Lion Camp. So you might have interacted with a few of us throughout our office, but here today, I'm specifically going to talk with you all about new student orientation. So there are a couple of steps in order to complete your new student orientation requirement. And this is one of the first things that you can go ahead and do after you are accepted to the university. So if you have not already done so, please log into your MyLeo account and actually submit a new student orientation reservation. Now you may be asking, why are we still submitting reservations? Kind of what's going on this summer with everything being online or virtual. We do still plan to hold new student orientation on the dates that we have previously set. However, all of that information and sessions will be conducted via a virtual format. But there will be things that you will be asked to do on the day of your new student orientation session. So we do ask that you still go ahead and submit your reservation as your first step. If you have already submitted a reservation and you need to change your date for any reason, feel free to reach out to our office. You can email us at orientation@tamuc.edu, or I'll have my contact information on the next slide. After you have submitted your reservation, ultimately you are good to go for orientation for the time being. Your next step will then be to register for your summer classes if you're taking them, or for sure your fall classes, but your academic advisor will be the one to initiate that next step. Your academic advisor will reach out to you via either email, phone call, or possibly both to set up an advising and registration appointment. They will confirm your major to make sure that they have you on their appropriate list. And then they'll also discuss any potential registration holds that you may have that would affect you registering for classes. So I know a lot of people are really excited about getting into those classes, and we are ready and willing to assist you. But just please be patient as your academic advisor is working through a large number of students. They are also still helping some of our current students get registered for classes. But they will be reaching out to you within the next few days if they have not already done so. As you are getting registered for classes, or after you register for classes, the next step will be to actually attend that virtual new student orientation session on whichever date that you picked. This is a brief schedule that you will see here on the screen. More information will be sent to you on actually how to access the virtual platform the week prior to your new student orientation session. But to give you a overview of what that schedule of the day will look like, it will start at 10 o'clock with a welcome from both our office as well as the university president and our student body president. And we'll go over some general housekeeping, announcements, and just kind of what to expect from the day for new student orientation. Later on that afternoon, you will be able to attend what we call our showcase, which will involve various different departments and student organizations on campus having tables where you can ask them questions about what their office does, what resources they have available to you as a student, and then for the student organizations, what involvement opportunities, new member recruitment opportunities that they may have going into the fall semester. That showcase will also be done virtual. So all of you as new students will get a link to join what we are calling our virtual showcase fair. And it will lead you into a platform where you can go into the various booths that we have, which will be the different departments and student organizations. You click on the booth or the student organization or department that you're interested in talking with, and then you get into a very similar format that we have here, where you're able to ask questions via chat with people that work in that office or are members of that student organization. And then right after the showcase ends, you will have a mixer with our orientation team. We have current students who have gone through training throughout the spring semester to serve as orientation leaders throughout the summer. We have both freshman orientation leaders as well as transfer orientation leaders. And then for you all who may have your parents or family members joining you at the new student orientation session, we also have parent and family orientation leaders as well. And so we will break out into those small groups and have some peer-to-peer sessions where you will get to know our orientation leaders a little bit better. They can give you some words of wisdom, tips and tricks from being a current student on campus. And then you'll also be able to ask any questions that you may have that you would rather ask a current student that has already gotten involved and been successful at A&M Commerce. And then the very last step that you will need to do in order to complete new student orientation is completing some online modules that'll be located in D2L, which is our online learning platform that's located within your MyLeo account. These online modules will be set up very similar to an online class. So if you end up taking any sort of online class, you will actually access those classes through D2L. So this will give you kind of a head start on utilizing that platform. The modules will be just a series of slides that you can do on your own time. And then there will be some knowledge assessments at the end of those slides. Sorry. There will be some knowledge assessments at the end of those slides that you will have to complete in order to show that you successfully reviewed the information and are retaining what we have put out there for you. The knowledge assessments will not be hard. It will be just information based on, or questions, based on the information that you reviewed. And then, as it says here in the italicized font, the successful completion of each of these steps is what will result in your orientation hold being removed. So you may be asking, I have that hold on my account. How do I get registered for classes with the hold? We will work with your academic advisor to remove that hold so that you are able to register for classes temporarily, but it will be fully removed once you complete all 4 of these steps. So that is how you will complete new student orientation in terms of that particular next step. As I mentioned, you can reach out to us as our office at orientation@tamuc.edu, and I'll put that in the chat box. Or here is my personal contact information. If you have questions or need to get in touch with anybody, you can email me directly as well. As I mentioned at the start of the presentation, if you do have questions, again, put those in the chat box. I do not believe I currently see any for me or orientation right now, but if you do have some, go ahead and put them in there and I'll answer them towards the end of the presentation. And now I'm going to turn it over to representatives from our testing center to talk about next steps from their office.
Hey everyone, my name is Lindsay Spain and I am here with Kristen Davis, and we are student assessment coordinators for the testing center. And we're gonna go over a few tests that you may be interested in taking or you have to take. So the first one is the TSI. We're just gonna kind of go over what is it, do you need to take it, and how do you take it? So the TSI is a state required exam that is designed to help you or help determine if you need any kind of additional developmental coursework or if you are college ready in reading, writing, or math. It is not an admissions exam, it is a placement exam. So there is no pass or fail aspect to it. It is just used for placement purposes. Okay. So Unless you're exempt from the TSI, all students entering any Texas public college or university needs to take the TSI. If you take the test and you do not meet the college ready scores, your advisor will help place you in a appropriate developmental course. And you can see here the college ready scores that's required in each section for math, reading, and writing. Okay. So if you've already tested, there is a way we can get your scores. You'll just need to fill out the online form we have available at this link. A lot of schools don't provide their TSI scores on their transcripts, especially if you took it in high school. So you'll need to fill out this form so you can give us permission to actually access your scores. Now, there are ways you can be exempt from the TSI test. So if you've already completed subject-specific college-level coursework, either as a dual credit student or as a transfer student, you will need to submit your official transcript so we can see what classes you took and see if we can use them for exemption. Not all classes will work for TSI exemption. They are subject-specific, so any kind of college level math will exempt you from math. English composition will exempt you from writing. And then there are other classes like government, history, literature that may exempt you from the reading section. Also, your SAT scores, if you have a 480 or higher in the evidence-based reading and writing, or a 530 or higher in the math section, that will exempt you. Or the ACT scores, you have to have a composite score of 23 and an English score of 19 or higher, or a math score of 19 or higher. Again, those scores have to be submitted to our admissions office for us to evaluate them for exemption purposes. You can also be exempt if you are a veteran with honorable discharge, active duty military, or you've been in the reserves for the past 3 years prior to enrollment. You would need to send that information to our veterans office. Also, the STAR English 3 and or the Algebra 2 test of 4,000 or more. The thing about the STAR test is that not all high schools administer the English 3 or Algebra 2 test. So these are few and far between. Some people do take these tests, but most students do not take these. And then also there is a college prep course. If you took in high school and received a C or better, you can be exempt from the TSI if you had a math or ELAR college prep course. Again, that official high school transcript has to be submitted with your final grade for exemption. So let's say you don't meet any of the exemptions and you need to test. What you'll need to do is email our office at testingoffice@tamuc.edu. And we are actually now able to virtually test via Zoom. So if you send us an email letting us know that you would like information on how to test online, we will send that to you. Just to let you know, the cost is $15 per section of the TSI. So if you just need math, you only pay $15. If you need all 3 sections, it would be $45. And we will send you instructions when you email us about how to purchase the tests. There's also another option. You can test with Examity, which is an online proctoring service approved to give the TSI. They have a little bit more flexibility with their test times. They can test during evenings and on weekends. They do require an additional $20, and that's on top of the cost you pay to the university for the test. So if you want to test with Examity, again, just email us saying that you want to test and we'll send you those instructions. Okay, and then Kristen's going to take over from this point about the other exams that you may be interested in taking.
Hello, my name is Kristen Davis. I'm the test coordinator for our testing center, and I'm going to talk to you about a couple of tests you might be interested in as incoming students. The first one we're going to look at is called the ALEKS Math Placement Exam. It's for if you want to get beyond college algebra and you want to place into a higher level math class such as pre-calculus or calculus. And this is good for students that are a part of the PSA program, which is that program that you're going to use to get into College Station in a year. You will most likely have to take a calculus class before you transfer to College Station. So this is the test you're going to want to take if you want to place into that class immediately. So, and any other students that would like to place into a higher level math class are welcome to take it as well. Go ahead. All right, so this is how ALEKS works. Students who would like to attempt to take the ALEKS test will purchase the access for the account and the learning modules from the TAMUC Testing Center at our marketplace, where we have all of the tests listed. The purchase price is $50 initially, and with that, you get 5 attempts in 1 year, but we also have a cost associated with retakes, and we'll get to that in just a second. Students will go and create an account through their MyLeo. You have an app inside MyLeo where you have all the apps housed. ALEKS is actually already there, so you just access it through there. Once the purchase is made and the account is created, the student will be able to make an appointment with the testing center to take the exam in our lab. Okay. All right, so this is how scoring works and placement. So to place into pre-calculus, which is Math 2312, you have to score a 61 to 75 percentile. And to place into Math 2413, which is Cal 1, is you have to get a 76% or better. Now, you can retake the test up to 5 times in a year's period. Each retake is $25. So you pay the $50 at the beginning, and then if you don't get the score that you want the first time, you just pay $25 for a retake. Between that time, you have to work a module, which is a learning module, giving you a preparation to retake the test. And these are free with purchasing the entire test. So once you work through those, you don't have to, there's no waiting period. You can, if you want to do that in one night and come in the next day, as long as you make your appointment and with the 24-hour advance notice, you can do so. So there's no waiting period between. But even if you, let's say you place into pre-cal the first attempt and you still want to try to place into that calculus class, you're still able to take up to those 5 attempts. Go ahead. All right, the next test we're going to talk about is Spanish placement. The Spanish placement exam is available to students who are fluent in Spanish already or feel like they are proficient enough that they can place in it or they can skip over the basic level classes. And it also is a bonus because if you place into a higher level class, you get the credits for all the classes that you skipped. So anybody whose first language is Spanish, who grew up in a Spanish-speaking home, lived in a Spanish-speaking country, or have any kind of background in learning Spanish, this is a good option to get college credits, and it will help you out if you're going to further your education in the Spanish department as well. Okay. All right, as far as the benefits for taking the Spanish placement, broken down here, we have the classes that it allows you to place into. Anywhere from 1311 all the way to up to 333, which is a much higher, like a junior level Spanish class. So you'll see here that if you place into one of the Spanish classes on the left-hand column, you'll see the credits that you are able to get when you finish the test. So if you place into the highest level, which is 333, you will get credit for all of the classes that you skipped, 12 credit hours, and then you will be able to start your class in 333. So that's kind of how that works. Okay. The Spanish placement exam right now, we have an option from the Spanish department. Dr. Belpoliti is the head of the Spanish department, and she has created an online survey for those who want to test during the time we are closed on campus. And so what you need to do if you want to take the Spanish place or you want to place in a higher level Spanish class at the moment is just contact Flavia Belpoliti in the Spanish department, and she will direct you in what she needs you to do to take the survey. It's equivalent right now to the Spanish placement exam. And once we reopen on campus, we will go back to the exam on Marketplace, which is $20. The last one I'm going to talk about right now is the CLEP exam. Most people are familiar with the term CLEP. It's a college level exam program. It's equivalent to a semester or 3 credits usually, depending on what subject you choose, but most of ours are the 3 credit classes. So this is good for people who already have a background in something they feel they have the knowledge level to skip the basic level college class, such as basic level history, political science. Some of the math classes are offered and things like that. This gives you credit for the class. It does not count towards your GPA, but you do get the college credits. Okay. Okay, so CLEP is not giving any options as far as online testing right now. So this test can only be administered once the lab is open on campus. But once the lab is open, we will be scheduling in our office, in our lab. So the CLEP has a couple of different components to it when we get to that point. The CLEP exams, you have to purchase 2 different components for this exam. The first is to purchase the actual exam. So you find the subject that you want to take, the College Board, which the web address is right there on the bottom of this page. You can go through the list of their exams and choose the subject that you want. You pay for that exam, and they will send you a ticket. And then you also have to separately purchase our proctor fee on Marketplace for $30. So the total of this test runs $117. This is just for 1 subject, 3 credit hour exam. CLEP exams can be taken at any time. They can be taken before you even start. They can be taken before the end of the semester, or they can be taken all the way up through right before graduation. As long as they're taken before graduation in time for us to get the scores, they will count towards your degree. They are 1 attempt exams. You either pass or fail, and there's a 60-day waiting period if you want to take the same subject again. So you really want to be sure that this is a subject area that you're strong in before you attempt. It's a one attempt test. The list of subjects accepted by our college can be found on our testing center website. And if you feel like, if you have any other questions, you can always email us at the testing center. We can answer any up-to-date questions or any classes that you have questions about. The list of exams available obviously are on College Board's CLEP website. And again, there's the website down on the bottom. We have our testing hours here. This is when we are reopened. We test Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We do occasionally have extra labs open for specific tests like TSI because of the volume. We are currently answering questions at our testing office email. So we monitor that all the time. So any questions, any general questions or specific questions about your account, we can answer those, and we will try to get back to you as soon as possible. But as far as scheduling, once we get back on campus, after the purchase of the exam, scheduling is only over the phone. We do not do any scheduling through email. So at that time, we will be answering the phone and we will be scheduling through the office. And I think that's all that we have today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jonathan Jordan, and I am the coordinator of special programs in the Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships. And so now we're about to talk about fun stuff. We're about to talk about money. So what we do in our office, we receive the TASPA and FAFSA applications. Once those applications are processed, the information collected is used to offer you your financial aid awards. Those awards include federal, state, and institutional aid, such as federal and state grants, federal and state work study, federal and state loans, and then some of the scholarships. For those of you that are expecting outside scholarships, be sure to let your donors know that they need to attention it to financial aid and scholarships, and also include your CWID in the event that we have multiple students with the same name. Any outside resources that you may receive, such as like foster care waivers or anything like that, all of that will be processed through the Office of Student Accounts. So how do you get your financial aid? So hopefully the majority of you have already completed a TASPA or a FAFSA application. If you have not, you can fill out that FAFSA application at the website here, fafsa.ed.gov, or if you are a TASPA student, you can fill out the TASPA application at collegeforalltexans.com. Both of those applications for the new award year open on October 1st. So those of you that will be starting school in August and are using the 2021 FAFSA, that FAFSA opened on October the 1st. So priority deadline for A&M Commerce is set for January the 15th. And we have that January 15th deadline in place because some of the state and institutional grants that we receive, it's a limited pot of money. And so we award it to students on a first come, first served basis. So those students that submitted their applications prior to January the 15th will be considered first. If there is leftover funding, then we will award the remaining students that are eligible. In order for you to get awarded, though, you have to make sure that you complete all of your outstanding tracking requirements because you can't be awarded with any requirements that are on your account. So a lot of people have questions about scholarships. So our institution has a general scholarship or has a scholarship portal rather. And if you'll notice here, or if you'll notice at the top here where the first arrow is, you will click on apps. And then once you're in the apps section, you can click on scholarships. There is a general scholarship application that you will fill out. And on that general scholarship application, it's asking you specific questions to you. It's asking specific questions to you. And what will happen is that general scholarship application will then match you with the scholarships that we have in the portal so that you can apply for those. You can apply for any and all of the scholarships that are in there, but with you filling out that general scholarship application, it generates scholarships that are applicable to you. One of the things that we recommend in financial aid is that you check your Leo mail constantly. We are constantly sending out updates or letting you know that you've been awarded or that you've been awarded a scholarship. And you just want to make sure that you're checking that periodically throughout the week for any updates. One thing that I do want to point out also, once you are admitted to the university, our office only communicates with you regarding your account via your university email. So you just want to make sure that you have your email, whether it be set up on your phone or if you go through the apps section in your MyLeo, you just want to make sure that you check that periodically. So once you've been awarded, how do you find your award offer? You will click on student resources at the top of the page, and then highlight it at the bottom under financial aid information. You'll select financial aid award menu. Once you click on financial aid award menu, you will select the award year that you're looking for financial aid for. So for you guys, it would be the 2021 award year. You'll select that, and that's how you go in. You can review your awards, you can review any scholarships or grants that you have, and accept, decline, or modify those awards. A word of advice to you, I would recommend that each of you accept all of your scholarships and all of your grants first. And take out loans only if you have to. the scholarships and grants, that is free money. You want to make sure that you accept all of the free money first, and then accept the loans. If you don't need all of the loans, there is an option to modify that dollar amount, and whatever dollar amount you do modify it for, that award will be split between the fall and the spring. So make sure that if you do have to take out a loan and you need just a little bit, make sure that it's enough to cover for the fall semester and the spring semester as well. But we can always reoffer. So to keep your financial aid, you have to be meeting satisfactory academic progress, or SAP as we like to call it. You have to have a minimum 2.0 institutional and semester GPA or higher. You have to complete at least 67% of the hours attempted. So if you are a student that is enrolled in 12 hours, you need to complete at least 9 in order to remain in good SAP standing. You also have to complete your degree within the required time frame, which is 150% or 180 attempted hours. If you find yourself on financial aid suspension, there are forms that you can complete, and they will have to be reviewed by the appeals committee. Now, keep in mind, you do get the option, or you do have a chance to be on a warning before going to suspension, but we just want to make sure that we don't run into that. Know who you owe. So this is a very good tool for students. If there are any transfer students on here or just students in general, this is a good tool or resource to have. NSLDS.ed.gov. NSLDS is the National Student Loan Data System. Using your FAFSA login credentials, you can log in here, and this information will let you know where you are as far as borrowing with your loan borrowing, as well as your grant, your federal Pell Grant. All of that information you can find at nslds.ed.gov. And also, if you're wanting to start paying back if you have student loans and you're wanting to start paying those student loans back, now you can find out who your loan servicer is, contact them, and then find out what you need to do in order to start paying back. I definitely recommend, especially transfer students, that you go out and look to see how much you owe, who you owe, and just make sure that you stay on top of that. We are located in the One Stop Shop at 2200 Campbell Street. We currently are working remotely, obviously, but we have individuals who are monitoring our general financial aid email. You can email us at fao.web@tamuc.edu, or the scholarships email, scholarships@tamuc.edu. We also have a 24-hour call center, and you can contact them there. If they can't answer your question, they will then forward that ticket over to fao.web. Again, my name is Jonathan Jordan, and thank you.
So that covers everything that we wanted to include in this Next Steps presentation. Again, thank you for joining us, but I did also want to open up the floor to questions. There have been a few questions coming into the chat box, most of them pertaining to the TSI or other testing center related questions, which have been answered. Thank you, Lindsay and Kristen, for answering those. Jonathan, there is one question right now. How often do new scholarships open up within the scholarship portal?
So the scholarship portal opens on October the 1st as well. So if you, for the next award year. So as of right now, if you are a new student looking to come in the fall, there are still some scholarships that are available and have stagnant close dates. So I would just recommend that you go in and look to see what is still available. However, October the 1st is when the scholarship portal opens.
Does anybody else have any questions in regarding financial aid and scholarships, the testing center, or new student orientation? There's a question here. I currently have a hold due to not having a financial agreement on file. How would I action that? This is a very good question. So this is actually one of the few holds that you all as new students can actually take care of yourself. The no financial agreement hold is actually something that will go on your account every semester prior to registration for classes. And so what you will need to do is once you are logged into your MyLeo account, you will click the Student Resources tab, and then you will click register for classes and follow the links. It's a couple of links, but you're going to continue to click register or registration. There's a few links in there. And then as soon as you get to the screen where you're about to start actually inputting the courses that you want to register for, the financial agreement will actually pop up. And then you can read over the financial agreement. There's a small little section at the bottom where you have to agree to what was included on the agreement, click submit, and then the hold will actually be automatically removed from your account. So if that is something that you all still have on your account, you can take care of that on your own right now. But then just keep in mind that it is something that will reappear each semester right before registration.
Hey, I wanted to follow up with something about if you are currently in a class that will exempt you from testing, we cannot exempt you until we have an official transcript with the grade. So if you're a transfer or a current dual credit, you will have to wait until the grades are submitted for the semester, and make sure you request an official transcript ASAP so we can get that hold removed as soon as possible.
Are there any other questions that anybody may have? If you would like to ask it out loud, feel free to unmute yourself. You can put it in the chat box. Lindsay, this one's going to go to you. The student is asking if I am an out-of-state student, can I still do the TSI online?
Absolutely, and this actually works really well for our out-of-state students. Normally, we would ask, or you could actually go find a testing center near you that could administer the test, but since most of them are closed right now, this actually works out really well. So just send us that email and we'll send you that very detailed information about how to get set up to test online with Zoom.
I want to make sure that if there are any other questions, if you're typing them, feel free to add them to the chat. I'm going to go ahead and add all of our office's email addresses into the chat just in case you weren't able to grab those as we were going through the presentation. If you have questions that you want to follow up with, or maybe it's specific to your student account. I don't see any questions coming in, so I want to be respectful of y'all's time. The presenters can hang on here for a couple minutes in case some people are typing, but I just want to thank you all again for being a part of not only this presentation, but Virtual Admitted Students Week. We are really excited to have you join the A&M Commerce Lion family this summer or fall. And so if you do have questions after this presentation, feel free to reach out to any of us on campus. I do know that some people may have some questions about residential living and learning and your housing options. And I wanted to go ahead and plug, there is actually a housing session tomorrow morning as part of Virtual Admitted Students Week. If you are available, it is from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's called Benefits of Living on Campus. So if you do have some questions specific to your housing assignment or the housing application, that would be a good session to attend. And then there are some additional sessions as well tomorrow as the last day for Virtual Admitted Students Week. I see a question here, I'm going to read it, but if you don't have questions, feel free to go ahead and leave. We appreciate you being here, but if you do have questions, go ahead and continue to put those in the chat box. Hannah is asking, I am in the Rising Lion program and just got registered for my fall classes, but haven't been contacted by an advisor from Rising Lion, so I was wondering when I should expect to be contacted. Hannah, will you drop your preferred email address in the chat box, and then I can actually send an email and connect you to the people overseeing the Rising Lion program. And then that way, if you have specific questions or just want to know more information, they can follow up with you directly. Yes, thank you all for being here. If y'all don't have questions, you are free to go. Jonathan, there's a question coming in. It says, when a general scholarship application is submitted and some of the scholarships already say applied based on the general application, how long can I expect to know if the award was given out?
That is a really good question, Veronica. If you send me your information, I'm going to type my email here. I can double check on that for you. And I can double check on that for you with our scholarship team, okay?
Hey, Jonathan, you accidentally said that just to me.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. JB is asking if I'm an online student and have been attending some Zoom meetings this week, does that apply for my orientation or are there additional requirements? JB, no, this is a separate program from New Student Orientation. However, if you are attending or enrolling, excuse me, in one of our online only degree programs, which means your degree program would be 100% online, there actually is an online orientation available to you. Similar to Hannah, if you don't mind dropping your email in the chat, I can reach out to you directly and we can discuss what those options are based around your major. My advisor still hasn't contacted me and I wanted to know how long does the process take. They started reaching out this week. Each academic advisor and each major is approaching the process a little bit differently. However, it is my understanding that all have at least done an initial outreach. Gemini, if you don't mind also dropping your email, we can kind of triage that separately. It may be based on the holds that you potentially may have. And so I can double check that. And then I can at least connect you to your academic advisor to at least start the conversation. And then if you don't have any holds, excuse me, they can continue on with you. Are there any other questions from the students still here? I want to make sure that you get your questions answered before we end the presentation. Okay, I don't see any more questions coming into the chat feature. So just again, thank you all for joining us. I will hang out for just like 1 more minute in case somebody's typing vigorously. But y'all are all free to go. Thank you and have a great rest of your Thursday. I'm going to go ahead and end the meeting. But thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate y'all.
Thanks.
Thanks, Chris. Bye.
Bye, y'all.